Hello. So it's been about a month since my last update. I've been trying to decide whether I want to start with like the positive things in my life or end with the positive things in my life. So I think I will start. I think I will start with the positive things. Positive things in my life right now, my weight loss. I haven't really talked about my weight loss in a long time. But weight loss surgery, hands down, hardest thing I've ever done. Legit, like I am not exaggerating. Hardest thing I've ever done. And I've delivered a child with no medication. So it is the hardest thing I've ever done. The mental strength that it has taken me to adjust to my new lifestyle, my new relationship with food. It's been really hard. I've pretty much figured it all out at this point. I don't eat a lot of bread. I don't eat a lot of sugar. I don't like chocolate anymore, which is bizarre. I eat chocolate occasionally, but it's not one of those things where it's just like, I can't stop eating this. It actually makes me sick after like a couple bites. So it's really not even worth it. Excuse me. As most of you know, I had weight loss surgery on April 17th of 2018. And as of this morning when I weighed in, well, my highest weight was 400 pounds. And as of this morning when I weighed in at 262. So I've lost, 138 pounds. So almost 140 pounds in, 9 months? 8 months? Something like that. I don't math good. But yeah, I'm at 262 pounds. The last time I was this size, I was pregnant with my oldest, and she's 6.5. So it has been 7-ish years since I've been this small. I am only 12 pounds away from being the size I was before I got pregnant, which is pretty cool. And I have gone from a size 28 pant to a size 18, which is really awesome. I have a lot more clothing options opened up to me now. This sweater is a Torrid size 0. I'm in mostly extra large now. I started at 4X in tops, and so now I'm at an extra large, which is amazing. So do I regret weight loss surgery? Absolutely not. Has it been hard? 100%. But do I regret it? Not in a million years. It was the thing that I needed for my health, and everybody's different. Everybody handles it differently. For me, where I'm at in my life with all of my other medical problems, it was the route for me, and I'm very, very grateful that I went ahead and did that. So that's the positive stuff. My weight loss is going great. I didn't gain anything after surgery. I just plateaued. After my surgery in December, I just stayed the same, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I've dropped like 13 pounds. My body is just finally starting to be like, okay, we're done with this recovery thing. We can kind of go back to normal. Now, as far as being done with recovery, this is the not so great part, and this is very disappointing for me. And I am sorry you guys get to see me cry all the time, but this is real, and this is me, and this is my life. So on January 3rd or 4th is when I got my catheter removed, which was quite a while ago, I'm aware. I've been mentally trying to process stuff and I've been trying so hard to get everything figured out before I talked to anybody, which is dumb, I know. I need to just, I'm a control freak. I like to be in control of my situation, and when I'm not, I kind of lose my mind. So, I don't even know what to say. January 3rd, they took out my catheter. As they were in the process of, and once again, disclaimer, if you don't like medical talk, don't listen. Don't watch. Whatever, I don't really care. In order to remove the catheter, they want to fill up your bladder to make sure you're not retaining anything in your bladder, to make sure your bladder is actually releasing fluid like it is supposed to. And for me, they tried to put the fluid in my bladder, and it just involuntarily all came out. And at that point, as soon as I could, like, I'm laying on this bed, having this nurse get ready to take out my catheter, and she puts the fluid in my catheter to try to fill up my bladder, and as soon as I feel it coming around the catheter and, like, dripping down my legs, my heart just broke. Because that's what happened last time. And my doctor tried to reassure me. He's like, this doesn't mean that your surgery failed. It doesn't mean that. Maybe your bladder's just adjusting. And he and I were both hoping so much that this surgery would do something positive for me. And unfortunately, this surgery did nothing. And no, that's a lie. It actually made me worse. So, my incontinence is worse now than it was before surgery, which I didn't know was possible, because my incontinence is bad. But, apparently, the surgery I had 2 years ago must have done just enough to make it a little better, but not better to a point where I could tell it was better, but definitely better to a point that now that it's gone and broken, I can tell that it's gone. The amount of, if you're unaware of this, I wear incontinence underwear. Like, I am a 30-year-old in a diaper. Go me. Like, it's awful. It's awful. And they're expensive. And I am back to a point where I'm going through, like, a package every day and a half. And a package is $12. And so if you can imagine how much money I'm having to spend on underwear for myself, which is so stupid and I hate it. It's so frustrating. So yeah, my incontinence is worse than it was before surgery. I regret going back to Seattle and having them do another surgery. But I didn't know what else to do, you know? I'm completely incontinent. I'm 30 years old. I have 3 children that I'm trying to raise. I didn't know what else to do, and so I figured doing something was better than doing nothing. Apparently, I just shouldn't have done anything. But, so what now? I've had a lot going on. A lot mentally going on. My mental health is probably the worst it's ever been. I was trying so hard to hang on to a little bit of hope that this surgery would do something positive for my life. And once I realized that that didn't happen, it just kind of like took my last little give-a-care away. And I was just like, you know what? Screw it. This is apparently my life. I just get to pee myself the rest of my life, and what is the point of anything anyways? So my mental health has not been good. I think I want to do a separate video at some point about my mental health, because it's a really important thing to talk about that I don't think enough people talk about, because, I don't know, society, like, I feel like society is just kind of like, ooh, we don't want to know the bad stuff, so don't tell us what's going on with your mental health. And I also feel like there's a lot of people who haven't gone through mental health issues think it's something you can just, like, choose. Like, choose to be happy. I am sorry, I have been in the hospital 24 times in the last almost 5 years. Oh, that's another thing. I haven't made a video since the last time I was in the hospital. So after the video you saw right after my surgery in Seattle, I had a lot of fluid buildup on my leg, what I thought was fluid buildup. I have incisions on my thigh from where they took tissue to make the sling for my urethra. I am sorry. And the area swelled up. I thought it was just fluid. I've had seromas before that are just like fluid buildups around incision sites. And unfortunately, that's what we thought it was. we went to the emergency room. I was in the emergency room for hours trying to figure out what was going on. They were like, go home, come and schedule an appointment with your doctor. So I did that. I went in and he said, you know, I could drain this here in the office, but then you'd have to come back 8 or 9 times. So what I'd like to do is have you come into the hospital and I will place a drain that you'll just have to have for like a month or so, and it will speed up the healing process. And so I was like, okay, cool, whatever. So I go in, my thigh was so full of fluid. It was like I could push it and it was like a wave pool. It was disgusting. And so I go in, I have a complete anxiety attack the night before I go in because I think I'm just burnt out with hospitals. So burnt out with hospitals. I cannot handle it anymore. And so I go in, it's supposed to be a small procedure. They're just like, well, there's nothing wrong that can go with this. And I'm just like, honey, don't say that to me because I am the person that it will go wrong with. So it went wrong. It did not turn out the way it was supposed to. They got into my thigh and found out that it was not fluid, it was blood. So I had a massive hematoma, basically a giant bruise that was just a huge pocket of blood. So like the external incision healed, but the internal one kept bleeding for a while. So they weren't able to do anything, and it was something that I just needed to wait to let it go away on its own, which took forever. It literally took like the entire 6 weeks of my recovery for that fluid to go away. And it was painful. Like it was like my entire thigh felt like it was the feeling you get when your foot's asleep. Like my entire thigh felt like that. So that same day, now this is getting into another reason why I haven't been doing so well mentally. That day I got home, I was having a really hard time coming off my anesthesia. I took a nap, I woke up, my mom was hanging out with me because I still wasn't allowed to lift stuff. My best friend was here, and all of a sudden my husband got home early from work. I had noticed that my mom was slightly off, and Dan got home from work earlier than I was expecting, and my mom asked me if she could talk to me alone. And so she did, and she told me that while I was waking up from surgery, my doctor came out and spoke to her and basically just said, I really don't know why anyone hasn't talked to Jackie about this yet, but I am extremely concerned about her desire to have more children. For those of you who are new or don't know me and whatever, my driving force forward since the beginning, since my first tumor, has been fix my body so I can get back to having my children. That's been my fight for 5 years. I was so blessed to get to have Olive in the middle of it, but there was still this lingering hope that at the end of it, on the other side of this trial, I would get to have more children. And he is just really concerned about that. That was devastating to me. Devastating for multiple reasons, I think, too. One, it was just something I'd been fighting so hard for. My dreams, I felt like my dreams were being ripped from me. My goals, my ambitions, what I wanted from my life was being ripped away from me. And I just, that was kind of the start of my mental decline. I did not process that well. I want more kids so badly. And Dan and I, you know, we've already started talking about, you know, we know we're not done having more kids in our family. Like, we know that. And now we're just trying to decide how. My doctor told me that with how bizarre and rare my case is, and with how many things I have that usually exist separately, and dealing with them separately is hard enough, but you put them all together. And my case is so bewildering. My doctor legit said, nobody is gonna have the right answer for you because this is like uncharted territory. Everything that we're doing from here on out to try to fix you is stuff that people haven't done before, which is scary in itself because I have now become an experiment. I get to kind of be the guinea pig to try to figure out how to fix this drastic of a problem. He said, could you feasibly have a pregnancy and have nothing go wrong? Sure. Is it worth the risk of all of this list of things that could go wrong? If you don't know, I only have 1/2 of my pubic bone. When they removed my tumor the last time, they removed a side of my pubic bone. And so my pelvic floor, what supports a baby during pregnancy, I only have half of it. I don't have both halves. So I just have this when it's supposed to be this. And so I'm missing a huge amount of support. And the bladder is right below your uterus when you're carrying a baby. And my bladder has had so much trauma. And so there's that we're dealing with now too. And so at this point, I don't know. And that is so hard for me not to know what my next step is. Like, I just want to know. Like, it makes it a little easier for me when I can say, okay, this is the next thing we're doing. This is when it's going to be. It gives me something I can look forward to. And, I don't know, I can kind of keep my mind busy when I have like a date or a month or something, but I don't have any of that right now. There's a procedure that he would like to do, but he doesn't even know if it's FDA approved yet. He knows that it's been in trial, but he doesn't know if it's FDA approved. He's really, really scared about doing any more major surgeries on me. If this procedure that he wants to do is not FDA approved, I can't do it. I don't have the money for that. If my insurance isn't covering it, I am sorry. I am already in debt. And, I don't know. And so, but the other option is complete diversion, which would leave me with a port on my abdomen or a urostomy bag. And he doesn't want to do that because I'm so young. And so, I don't know. And I have a hard time with that too, because yes, I'm young, but I'm also not living my life in the way that I would like to be living my life because I'm wetting myself. I would rather be dry and be in control of what's going on than to be wetting myself. I'm just kind of done with it. I have been completely incontinent for almost 2.5 years. And I just need something to give. Something has to give. Something has to start getting better. Because my mental health can't take it anymore. This is also the month of the anniversary of my dad's death. My dad died in January of 2017. And so I have so much on my plate right now. I told my husband the other day that I feel like I'm trying to fill my bucket, but my bucket has a hole in it. And so my bucket is broken and I can't fill my bucket until I've fixed the bucket. And I don't know how to fix the bucket right now. Like, in my emotional bucket. Like, I am so emotionally broken. Like, I don't handle being around people well. I don't like it when people ask me how I'm doing because I'm not doing good. I'm genuinely not okay. Mentally, I'm not okay. Physically, I'm doing a lot better weight-wise. Other than that, my incontinence takes up 100% of my brain because I'm constantly afraid that I am going to have an accident in front of people. And while people are generally understanding, it is still the most mortifying thing in the world to be an adult wetting yourself in public. Not fun. Anyways. I'm sorry. This has been a rant. I don't know. If I've been ignoring, I hate to say ignoring, but if you've been messaging me and I haven't responded, I apologize. I don't know what to say to people. I don't know how to talk to people right now, because every time I start talking, I start crying, and I don't want to be just this blubbering mess all the time whenever anybody talks to me. So I've just been kind of keeping it to myself. And I was keeping it off here too, just because I was trying so hard to figure out what my next step was first, but I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know when I'm going to know what my next step is. So for right now, I'm just focusing on my weight loss, and I'll probably do a separate video just dedicated to that as well at some point, because there's a lot about that I could talk about as well. I am really wanting to get back into doing videos on a regular basis. I think it's good for me, good for my brain to have something to focus on. But yeah, so that's the update on my life. Sorry, this video has been pretty long, but this is an easier way for me to kind of be in my own little bubble, be safe, and also let the people that care and are interested in what's going on with me know what's going on with me. So yeah, my surgery didn't work. My weight loss is going well. That's where my life is right now. I hope you guys are doing great. I will keep you updated on what my doctor decides and what I decide, and yeah, thank you so much for the messages. I get them. I might not respond, but I do get them, and I appreciate them, and I love them. So thank you for the love, thank you for the support, and the prayers, and the thoughts, and everything. Just thank you. Yeah. I'm gonna go now. Bye.